Hello, hello, and welcome back to Horizon Zero Dawn and the Frozen Wilds DLC. We will be following the story mode for the first part of this, and then we'll go back for the side quests afterwards. So we are currently here on the map, and as you can see, it is a long trek to the cut and the Frozen Wilds beyond, which is the Banuk territory, I believe. So we need to make our way on foot all the way there, and on the way there we will encounter a number of beasties and enemies, so we are going to have to stop and fight a few times on our route to the cut. And when we get to the cut, we can then explore and move on into the Frozen Wilds. So, 2 waves of enemies already dispatched, and we will now move on towards the cut before we encounter what's this we see here.
It's killing time.
Well, we made short work of them. There seems to be a lot of people who don't want us to go in this direction, and they seem quite wealthy people. All of them have something quite valuable on them, which I now possess myself. So onwards towards the cut and the Frozen Wilds, and as we're heading for the Frozen Wilds, we are going to dress appropriately in the warmest weather clothing we have, which happens to be a Banuk outfit. So it looks like we've made it to the cut, so we now have to climb up and through the cut and into the Frozen Wilds. This is quite uneventful, just a lot of climbing and running over ledges. So we've cut out most of that, and we should now be right near the top. What we're doing up here is make our way through the cut, collecting up all of the stuff that we can, and we should now be on the far side. We will soon be entering the Frozen Wilds. But what do we have here? Some new kind of beastie. Well, he wasn't too much trouble. I do know that he is also a very, very fast machine, so getting him down quick is preferable. So we're going to just raid his body. Going to need some more ammo, I believe, before we continue on through the cut into the Frozen Wilds. You can see we're heading in the right direction by all of these little blue lights. that are quite pleasant on the eye. They're not too bright, and they glow nicely in amongst all of the snow. So once we get up here, we can find out what's going on. For as far as I am aware, there is a plague of machines currently infesting the frozen wilds. There are a lot of new machines here as well, much tougher, much bigger. So we will need to at some point upgrade our weaponry, but we can't do that just yet. And it sounds like we are getting close to something. That doesn't sound particularly good. So as we pass through this tunnel here, we are now through the cut and into the frozen wilds.
Here, Nora? I've worked up a sweat from the climb.
So let's go and meet the Banuk in their home grounds and find out what we can about the area.
Not that you'll stay long.
So I'm guessing the village is around here somewhere. Oh look, a volcano. Why do I get the feeling we're going to end up over there at some point? Anyway, onwards. We are now at the outermost edge of the Banuk territory, and we are starting to run into people rather than just hearing them. So everybody seems to be making their way over in this direction. So let's follow them and see what's going on. Maybe there's a town meeting or something, and we can find out some information about the Banuk and the plague that is befalling them at the moment. So let's just join the crowd here, shall we?
Get ready for a rare sight, Nora. Bergrand, purveyor of necessities. Most of the time, the Banuk burn their dead, but not today.
Because the bodies couldn't be recovered.
Aye, a nasty business. All their best warriors lost. So they're getting a different kind of send-off.
Grasp your grief, my hunters, and kill it! For our kin sees the fate all Banuk long for. Falling with their spears striking steel. Their struggle is over now. You have witnessed their spirits rise up into the blue sky and beyond to the blue light. But our struggle is only beginning. Soon, we will again take up the hunt against the daemon that frenzies the machines against us. And so I ask you, can you summon the courage of our fallen kin? Will you fight And die, as well as they did!
My courage! My spear!
Our blood is in your teeth, Oratok!
We are Banuk. Our enemies. Our prey.
The daemon. That frenzies the machines.
Machines that wiped out their best. And what do they want to do? Go back up there. Fools. A little advice, for free.
Aloy.
Aloy. I've been up here for 2 long winters, and I still can't make sense of the Banuk. Take this ruckus. It started with one of their shamans, Aurea, spouting on about spirits and demons up on Thunder's drum. So they march their Warwick up there, and half of them get slaughtered by machines. When Aurea vanished, I thought the crazy might have gone with her, but no. Here's Big Oratok, gearing them up to do it all over again.
What is it about the Banuk you can't make sense of?
Well, everything's a test to them. A hardship to endure. A challenge to survive.
Seems like they don't have much of a choice in a place like this.
Yeah. A land cold enough to crack teeth. Filled with wild animals. You think they'd accept a little reasonably priced aid. Well, believe me, I've tried to convince them. But a Banuk with nothing left to prove might just lie down and die.
And Aurea is the one who spoke about this daemon?
That's right. Told Oratok and the others that it lives up on Thunder's drum. And they believed him.
But you don't.
Look, I don't know what Aurea found up there. A shaman's not going to talk to an outlander. The machines in the cut are getting more vicious, that's a fact. It could be because of the daemon, or it could be because they all got indigestion, for all I know. But Aurea's not around to explain. She took off, and no one knows why.
Is Aratak a renowned warrior around here?
He's a Warwick chieftain. His voice carries a lot of respect. Not that you hear much of it. Man talks about as much as a dead fish. But when he and Aurea came to town with their Warwick, it drew more Banuk to this little burg than I'd ever seen. Know what else I saw, Aloy? My own little trade route, stretching all the way back to the claim. Then, he goes and leads them off to their death at the claws of angry machines. So much for my best customers.
What are these Warwicks about, Bergrand? Some sort of tribe within the tribe?
Not like our clans back home. You don't get born into these things. They hold tryouts. Prove your best at something and you might get a place. Somewhere it's come and go. Some last as long as metal. The whole Banuk territory, Banur, is just a bunch of the biggest, oldest Warwicks.
I'm not sure if I'm less confused or more confused.
Well, here's the sure thing. Each Warwick has a chieftain and a shaman. They make the decisions. All well and good, except the chieftains are hard-headed, and the shamans have their heads in the clouds.
You said you've lived out here for 2 winters?
Aye. Back home, some fur traders told me about this still-forsaken heap of tents. Good location. Ripe for change. We were barely scraping by until this place started filling up for Aurea. A great prophet is coming, they said. I heard prophet. Honest mistake. Not that the Banuk are stingy, they just prefer to keep trade among themselves. We could get through to enough of them. We could really put this place on the map. Or at least on a map.
We?
Me and my daughter. My assistant, Varja. My assistant and my daughter. We seem to get along better as business partners. Her mother wanted me to show her a trade. She started tinkering with weapons. Say, when you need a break from this Banuk carry-on, stop in and see her. You're both, how do I put it?
Women?
No, independent. Look for her at Long Notch, the easternmost Banuk camp.
I want to know more about this daemon.
It's crazy talk, Aloy.
Or there's something to it. Something connected to how the machines behave.
Then you need to find Araya. She was last seen headed for the mountains they call the Ice Rafts. I've heard only the shamans know the trail beyond those frozen peaks. But I do know where you could find her apprentice, Naltuk. He went north of the river, chasing rumors.
Rumors?
Not the good kind. Sudden attacks in the snow. Strange new structures. Some say a new machine, like no one's seen before.
Oh, now I'm definitely interested. Thanks for the talk, Bergrand.
Don't mention it.
I wonder if Aratak could
He's
tell me
a
more about
prickly
Araya
sort,
or Thunderstrom.
But I suppose she can afford to
Maybe
be
worth a shot?
talented like that.
Good life requires three things.
I do not want to hear this talk from you again. Doubt is heavier than a week's snow.
Forgive me, my chieftain. We will be ready for the next attempt.
But this will not be an attempt. It must be done. Do you understand?
My chieftain.
Good. Outlander, I suppose you wish to speak?
There are other Weraks in Song's Edge too?
Yes. The village has its own life for all Banuk who need trade or shelter. After the war ended, it sprang up from what was once a campsite, quick as the bloom between frosts. Perhaps it will last, until the Karja seek war again.
Araya knows about this daemon. Where would I talk to her?
She does a shaman's work. That is not for the eyes and ears of others. Certainly not an Outlander's.
This daemon you talked about.
If you are hardy enough, you can venture out and see the signs yourself. It has changed the machines, made them fiercer, stronger.
But what is it?
A matter for the shamans to debate.
Did your Werak come from this place?
No, we rallied most of our hunters from across Banuk to face the threat of the daemon. But I was born here, and stayed to fight the Karja when others retreated into the mountains. A few of my old warriors remained with me, those who survived.
You're set on going back to the mountain?
I put my word to it.
Even with the risks being so great?
The risk of what? Death? It would be a worse fate to bow our heads to the challenge and say too much.
Well, I guess that's it then.
Good. I prefer deeds to words.
Right.
I'd not get much.
So, it turns out the shaman may be the person we need to speak to, so we're going to try and track her down, and in order to do that, we're going to have to firstly locate her apprentice, and he happens to be off in this direction somewhere.
We'll follow the river north.
So, as Aloy says, we're going to follow the river to the north. As you can see, there is a tall neck off in the distance, which we will at some point also have to deal with. But in the meantime, our primary objective is to find the apprentice and hopefully persuade him to lead us or tell us where the shaman is. We've got a rough idea, but apparently there is a specific path we need to take. So here is the apprentice. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
Interesting. Maybe I could override it. Naltuk?
Who are you? How did you find me?
Bergrand told me you'd be out here.
He's persistent. I've told that Oseram 1,000 times. I don't need to buy anything.
And I'm not selling. I just need to find Araya.
Well, you won't. She's gone where only shamans can tread. She seeks guidance from the voice in the blue light. That is her task. And the task she gave me is to observe the daemon's work. To stop it spreading, if I can. What can I do about these towers? In only a few weeks, they've sprouted throughout the cut. The daemon's energy pulses from them. Rallies the machines, even repairs them.
Aratak said this daemon was frenzying machines?
Look there. Those with the purple markings. They belong to the daemon. They're stronger, more dangerous.
I've seen something like this before. A corruption. But it wasn't from your daemon.
You have? Well, then you know more than I do. These towers, were they part of your corruption?
No. Those are new to me too.
Like I said, they empower the daemon's machines. They must be stopped.
Will you tell me where Araya went?
You ask a lot of questions.
Only when I'm not getting the answers I need.
There's but one voice Araya wants to hear right now, and it isn't yours. I'm sorry.
Alright, you want to stop the spread of the daemon's work? I know how to get started. With my bow and spear.
Outlander, wait. Won't you tell me your name?
Aloy.
Good. If you fall to the daemon's machines, at least I can properly recount your efforts to Araya.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. But I won't fall. And when I'm done, you're gonna tell me where she is.
So it could be possible that these towers are causing the problems. We need to take them out. Now you can either override the towers, or if you see that yellow cylinder that pops up on its back, you can shoot that with a hard point arrow and blow the tower up. I'm going to opt for the override just because it may possibly benefit us better than destroying the tower. Who knows? But we do have a number of demonic machines in our path, which we are going to have to deal with. And that was an excellent long distance shot. I do know there are a couple of more in the area. I can just about see one of them. So with the machines all taken care of, we are going to now approach and override the tower. And hopefully, I'm looking at all of these machines' corpses, and they all have nice green and blue icons over them. So they must all be carrying some pretty decent goodies. So once we get to the tower, we're just going to override that. Like I said, you can destroy it if you wish. But I'm banking on the idea that overriding it will have some other beneficial effect, although it doesn't appear to. So let's go back to the apprentice and speak to him after first raiding all of these machine corpses along the way. Because although we are quite well off for resources, we are in a new area and will probably require new resources. Namely animal skins and bones for upgraded weaponry, which we will get to at some point.
Seems I can take care of the machines and towers. The daemon's next.
You claimed its power for yourself somehow. Perhaps Araya should meet you after all. What she truly seeks is hope. After what I just saw, you could show her that. She's in retreat beyond those mountains, the ice rasps. You'll have to walk the shaman's path to get there. You'll know you've reached the end when you come to a shrine. A great machine covered in blue gleam. Shamans who complete the path take a piece of it as reward. If you make it that far. You should too. You'll have earned it.
You said something about blue gleam at the end of the Shaman's path?
A crystal that builds on the bodies of machines in the oldest ice. We Banuk believe it's the stuff of the blue light, frozen as it escapes their shells. You might be more interested that merchants will trade well for it.
Bergren told me you're Araya's apprentice.
In her absence, I serve the chieftain and his werak as an advisor, a scout, a speaker for the blue light.
A lot of responsibilities.
I don't know if I can live up to Araya's example, but I have to try. I owe her that much. She took a chance on me, an aspiring shaman from the edge of the world. No one else would.
Were you with Araya when they attacked the mountain?
I wish I had been, even with all that happened. I'm no warrior, though, so she bid me wait. When Araya and the chieftain returned, I saw them argue bitterly. I don't know what about exactly. Then she came to me, gave me my task, and left us.
How do I cross this shaman's path?
Go to the ice rasps. Then follow the markers through the ice caves and the waterfalls, and make the climb to the shrine. But be careful. The path is meant to be an ordeal, the final trial of a young shaman's training.
And I'll find Araya at the end of it?
No. She goes further up, somewhere inside the mountain. If you see her, would you tell her... I have faith she will hear the voice again.
So we now know which direction to head. We're gonna leave the story there for now, and we will pick it up in the next episode. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.